Hello, everybody. It's Captain Marty Brill here on Friday, February the 7th. We've knocked another week in the head. We're solidly into February, and there are still plenty of things to talk about on the fishing front, which I'll be back to do in just a moment.
Wave Runner Fishing Charters provides exceptional Outer Banks fishing trips for anglers of all experience levels. Captain Brian White's love for fishing began at age 6 and soon evolved into a lifelong passion. Located at Wanchese Marina, the Wave Runner specializes in offshore and nearshore fishing adventures, offering guests the excitement of pursuing a wide range of pelagic species. They have the best rates in town. Call today at 252-216-8350 or online at fishwaverunnerobx.com. Welding. It's ultimately the use of lightning to fuse metals and steel together, and at Wanchese Metalworks, that's what they do best. Specializing in marine fabrication and repair on sport and commercial fishing vessels, Wanchese Metalworks does fuel tank fabrication, rod racks, rocket launchers, T-tops, towers, struts, rudders, trim tabs, and green sticks, just to name a few. They also do interior and exterior handrails and stainless kitchen work too. Whether it's MIG and TIG or arc welding, Wanchese Metalworks does it all. They're the realest of the real when it comes to metal and steel. Wanchese Metalworks, 102 CB Daniels Road, Wanchese.
All right, so we'll start out by telling you at the end of today's report, we'll have some breaking news for you, something pretty exciting that I'm working on with the folks at One Boat Inc., with Justin and Phil and the crew, and we'll bring you up to date on that. You don't want to miss that. We'll be back to do that in just a few moments after our break. But the tuna fishing, the giants are still out there, not in the numbers, at least not in the accessible numbers that we had when it was a guarantee most every day last week that you're going to get a big strike on a fish over 500 pounds. They're still out there. I was talking to Captain Dickie Harris on the Fantastic. He's my one person I can keep up with in the wintertime. He went offshore. Him and another boat set out side by side, and the other boat, as soon as he dropped the baits over, hit a 500 pound plus tuna, and Dickie went without right next to it. I've seen that happen so many times, and why that happens, hard to say. But Dickie did catch a tuna later in the day, but it's just like kind of more hit and miss now. You know, you can put in a whole day and not get a strike on one of the big ones. The smaller ones, the schooling size ones, 50 to 200 pounds, are a little bit more plentiful, but they're not all exactly in the same area. Everybody wants the big one. That's what they're really out for this time of year. But those tuna are still out there. Saturday, no, not the Saturday bite. It would be the Wednesday bite was pretty good. So that was there was a couple I saw that were tipping the scales at better than 800 pounds. Now, these are bluefin tuna. As we get later into the spring, we'll start seeing more yellowfin tuna show up. They're smaller. They're averaging 50 to 60 pounds. And then a little bit more into the summer, we'll get back to catching the blackfin tunas, which are the smallest ones. They're 15 to 25 pounds. And so those are the three major tunas that we catch. We also catch big eye tuna. They are average 100 to 300 pounds. And there are true Allisons. And there are also true albacore. Not false albacore, which is a bait fish to us, but true albacore. Late in the summer, up on the north end of our fleet, we'll catch a few of those. So we are one of the top tuna locations in the world, and I would say if you're interested in doing that this summer or getting involved in the spring or fall tuna bite, now is the time to go ahead and pick your day. And if you're really going to do that and go to that much trouble, try not to pick a Saturday. Do whatever you have to do to get your group out there midweek. The fleet is half the size on Wednesday that it is on Saturdays in the summer. And tuna are a surface fish. You get a whole bunch of boats out there, they can drive the fish down. So that is what you really want to try to do if possible. Now, what else is going on around the piers and on the beach? There's still a drum bite from all the way down to Ocracoke and all the way back up to Kitty Hawk. They are still catching, and I guess we'll go right on catching some of these slot-sized puppy drum. There's been a few over the slot I've seen. There's a scattered black drum in the catches. None of that has changed. That's about all there is. I'm not really seeing any rockfish, ocean stripers like that, or not even really much of anything else other than occasionally a small shark. But the drum bite has been good, and some days it's been really good. That's not to say you're going to go down and get one on every cast, but when it's good enough that guys on a calm day can catch them on fly rods in February, that's pretty good in my book. So not much change in our fishing report as we head into the weekend, but we do have a little bit to talk about in addition to that breaking news, and we'll be back to do that right after the break.
Boasting phenomenal seafood dishes, a great menu, and waterfront views with deck seating, Striper's Bar and Grill at the Shallowbag Bay Marina in Manio serves a casual, fun-filled dining experience with an Outer Banks flair. With 3 floors to choose from, you're bound to find the perfect seat for you and yours while enjoying great food and fantastic drinks. To see our menu and to catch a glimpse of the beautiful views, go online to stripersbarandgrill.com. Striper's Bar and Grill at the Shallowbag Bay Marina in Manio, where everyone's a VIP.
Okay, so what we have in the backcountry is limited. Trout season is closed. There's still, I am not hearing much of anything else. The drum bite will come back, but right now there's not a lot of drum in the sound. Although someone listening may have a honey hole. I know that happens, so it's probably worth a try, but just make sure you understand all the laws applying to the trout, so you don't get yourself in trouble. There is a good crappie bite going on in all the usual haunts. The places people like to go, Menace is the choice of bait, live Menace. And again, I have total respect for those people. That is, you have to be there at the right time, the right sun conditions, and the right time of day when those crappie are up on the beds. And it might be a little early. I don't think they're spawning just yet, but they are catching them. You know, I have never eaten one, but they tell me that they're really, really good to eat. So there are a lot of places to fish for them. You can go into East Lake. Of course, we're talking about over here around Lake Mattamuskeet is another good spot. Up in, even up in Kitty Hawk, and then you get up into Currituck County. There's a bunch of places up that way that you can catch crappie. People love doing it because it's relaxing. A lot of times they'll fish with 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, what looks like cane poles. A lot of them are very high-tech fiberglass rods, but that's really the only other thing that's going on in our backcountry report. We do know also that duck season, the youth day, the final youth day is tomorrow, and then quiet will return to Hyde County because I live right in the epicenter of the Atlantic Flyway as they come into Lake Mattamuskeet. There are over 600 duck impoundments, flooded duck impoundments in Hyde County, and there's a lot of shooting going on. I'm looking forward to a little bit of a quiet down, a little bit of a break on that. Now, I did mention we have breaking news, and the breaking news is tomorrow morning we will launch our new project. Justin Bateman, my producer, and my friends at One Boat, we're going to do be about an hour long, what would kind of be like what we used to do on the Saturday morning show when I was in radio. We'll do some interviews. We'll make some phone calls. We'll do all of that stuff. And you can tune in, go to our podcast site where you're at right now, and you can tune in and listen. It'll launch tomorrow morning, and then you can go back and listen to it anytime you want. It'll just be a little deeper dive into what's going on the fishing front. So hope you guys will take a moment to come over there and join us. And by the way, thank you for all of y'all that have been following along. I see the numbers. I'm encouraged by them, and I'm hopeful that this new project we're going to do is going to just get us back to some old school stuff like we used to do. So that is the entire fishing report for today. The weekend's upon us. Everybody gets a day off, and hope you all stay safe. If you go out in that open water, be careful. Water's cold, but stay safe and have a blessed weekend.